Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's going to give it a moment for everyone to join. So we have a few callers calling in. That's so great. Thank you for being here. All right, we're going to get started. We're a couple minutes after 12, just giving time for a few more people to join, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Addie. I am the Young Professionals Program Coordinator. Thank you so much for being here. This is a put on by the Young Professionals, but if you are a part of the community, we've also been putting it out to all chamber members. So everyone is welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We're really excited for today. I have a few announcements to go over first, and then we will jump into the presentation. I would like to thank our year-long YP sponsor, US Bank, first and foremost. They're wonderful supporters of all of our programming. Just want to give them a quick shout out. And I want to let everyone know this is our first expert webinar of 2021, and it is free for everyone. Thank you so much for being here. But we will be charging a small fee moving forward for our expert webinars. So that leads me very well into making sure that you check out our YP passports that we've launched this year. We'll be selling them till the end of January. You can get all of our programming for the whole year at one price, and it is a discounted price if you pay for everything up front, and then you don't have to do it all as one-off events, which is great. So make sure to go to benyp.org and check that out. I will also be sending that in the end email after this later today, so you'll have links to that. Today, we are going to be giving away one annual LinkedIn premium account that comes with LinkedIn Learning. So I know that's kind of a mouthful, but we're super excited about that. And we're also going to be giving away one free profile consultation, with our presenter today. So very exciting and this is only for people who have actually come today. So that's going to be amazing. We have a lot of people attending, but your chances are still great. So we're giving those things away later, and we will announce that at the end. So today we have Ellen Vlagakos, and I hope that I said that well. She will announce her name for you herself when she gets on here, and I'm sure she'll do it much better. She is the agency lead with LinkedIn. She's an agency lead and marketing solutions focused on agency relationships and building development opportunities. So she's actually in New York City, so it's really cold there today, colder than here. And she's been with LinkedIn for a little over a year. She's an ambassador of LinkedIn and feels really passionate about helping users get familiar with the platform. So we're so thankful that she's here today. We also have Rob Garrett, who's in Bend with us. He's a Bend native here since 2015. And he works with LinkedIn Learning, actually. He's a content manager with LinkedIn Learning, and he's working to build and maintain one of the largest and broadest collections of e-learning in the world. So super awesome. He helped us to coordinate today's session. So Rob, so thankful for you. Thank you for being here. I would like to let you all know Ellen loves to take questions. So if you have questions during this presentation at any time, please put them in the Q&A box and I will be monitoring that. And we will make sure that we get some Q&A time at the end as well. So we might sprinkle some throughout depending on when you guys have questions. So I just want to say hi to Ellen and hi to Rob really quick. Rob, do you want to say hi before we get going?
Hey there, everybody. I'll just be lurking in the background, but happy to answer questions about LinkedIn Learning if you have them.
Great. Thank you so much, Rob. And Ellen, we're ready for you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. So excited to be here. And I know I can't see your faces, but very excited. And I'm hoping that you all will get a lot out of this today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Also, Addie said my last name perfectly. My name is Ellen Vlagakos. I have been with LinkedIn for over a year. Prior to that, I did work on the agency side on the LinkedIn platform. So it was kind of nice coming to the other side and helping folks like who I used to be, really getting familiar with LinkedIn marketing solutions and just the LinkedIn platform in general. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I will take a pause between the different sections to make sure that there are, I can answer any questions. Like Addie said, we will have questions or Q&A at the end. Also, let me start sharing my screen actually. Let me know. Oh, did it work?
Looks great, Ellen.
Okay, great. So fantastic. So if you all want to write down my name, it's Ellen Vlagakos, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions after the session or even just moving forward, very happy to help answer anything, provide any assistance. I will say that I'm truly honored to be here today because this is my first Rock Your Profile event since I've become an ambassador. I have done these events for agencies, but more in an informal fashion. So would love to get any feedback from you guys later on. And then of course, if there are any questions that I cannot answer today, I will make sure to follow up. So I'm just going to dive into what the agenda is going to be for today. So we're going to get to know LinkedIn a little bit. I'm sure you all are pretty familiar, but there might be some nuances that you don't know or haven't heard of, or maybe you don't realize like how big the platform actually is and how you can actually use it to connect with different types of people. Why LinkedIn? Why should you even be interested in having a LinkedIn profile or connecting with people on LinkedIn? So we'll go over that a little bit. Your profile and what it means about you, what your story is. Think about it as your online resume, and really we'll go into a little bit deeper of how you can really rock your profile. Right, that's the whole point today. Beyond the LinkedIn profile, what you should be doing, how you should be engaging, and then, like I said, we'll take some Q&A and wrap up at the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and let me know. Sometimes these videos.
I think about how important it was for me
quick.
to have the role models that I've had. On LinkedIn, I belong to a lot of groups, model making, visual effects. They've been a really great resource for connecting with people professionally. Look at that. That's been a really great thing.
We have a large community of scientists all across the world. Tools like LinkedIn has really helped us connect. I'll look for hashtags like spacecraft design and virtual reality. There's plenty of space to explore here on Earth, to go outside of your bubble.
When I first got out the military, getting back on my feet was hard. I've gotten a lot of help off LinkedIn. There's a transitioning veterans group. I've had a number of people like, hey man, I've been where you're at. You can do this.
If I do anything in this life, I just want young people to feel empowered. In this industry, it really is about who you know. LinkedIn makes it more accessible to people like me who wouldn't have those opportunities otherwise. It's been a great way for me to just reach out to people and have conversations, like who's accepting applications for this internship or for this opportunity. I've gotten to link up with some pretty cool people. I'm in it to tell stories that matter.
Okay, so that happened really quick. Apologies that the videos came on so suddenly, but I did want to show a couple of things with the videos. Is that you think about LinkedIn and you might think about it as something corporate, something where you're connecting on a professional level, and obviously it is, but we do want to ensure that you're aware that there are programs and connections and different types of groups for all different types of people, right? Photographers, military. I mean, I was involved with a military group a few months ago where they wanted to make sure that the wives of the military had a group of their own where they could share job postings, share networking opportunities, etc. So It's just, there's a lot that you can do with LinkedIn and on LinkedIn that I think a lot of people aren't aware of. And so I think, the whole point today is to give you a little bit of a snapshot of that, but then also for you all to take back and think about, like, what are you in it for? What do you want to get out of LinkedIn? What are your interests and how you want to use the platform? So in terms of, why we all come to LinkedIn, I think there's a common similarity. I think with Facebook and Twitter and, some of the other social platforms, there's a little bit more passive behaviors there, right? So if I'm scrolling on Facebook, it might be to see what's going on with my family members or my friends and see, like the new puppy pictures and the new baby pictures. Whereas like with LinkedIn, you're coming really for more of a purpose. And a lot of these, the purpose could be because you're interested in news or certain industry type news, or you're interested in a job, or you want to expand your learning and development. So you might want to see what kind of learning courses there are. Professional events, obviously networking is one of the biggest drivers of people to be using LinkedIn. So it's just a lot of reasons to be on LinkedIn, but they're all with a purpose. It's not, I think what we see is people are very active on the LinkedIn platform. And one thing that I like to just note about LinkedIn is that there's a lot of positivity on the platform, right? Whereas you don't get that on every other platform. There's I think like in the climate that we're in right now, also with the pandemic, I think a lot of people have ways to express their frustration and there's a lot of debates going on some of the other platforms. But on LinkedIn, for the most part, I would say it's a very encouraging environment and very positive. And that's really how we want it to be. We want people to come on and feel like they're making amazing connections, whether that's with a human, with a company, with a brand, however it is. So just think about like how you use LinkedIn, and and maybe are you using it enough, or are you using it in the right way? And like I said, I'm open to any kind of questions that you guys may have in the future. So feel free to connect with me and ask me anything in the future. So our vision, LinkedIn's vision, is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. So that has been the vision of LinkedIn since the inception of LinkedIn. To further that, our mission is to connect the world's professionals and make them more productive and successful. And that is why we're here today, right? We want to make sure that you feel like you're getting everything that you can out of LinkedIn to be productive and successful. So why LinkedIn? I'm going to go through the different types of business units that we have. So when we did our introductions in the beginning, Rob mentioned that he works on the LinkedIn Learning, the business unit. I work on LinkedIn Marketing Solutions, and then we have our Talent Solutions and Sales Solutions. So I just want to give you guys a snapshot of the different ways where LinkedIn creates these opportunities. Our Talent Solutions are really more focused on the jobs that are out there, making sure that they're working with different brands and companies to bring those job opportunities to our platform. And that's kind of where that team focuses. My team, the team that I work on, the LinkedIn Marketing Solutions, to make sure that we're, helping brands and companies and agencies find the right folks to advertise to, connect with, get new leads, etc. Our sales solution is very similar in that, really just that networking connection and making sure that from a sales perspective, you are utilizing it to drive leads and to get more of that like social selling. And then LinkedIn Learning, which we will pass along afterwards, some free courses that you can take on LinkedIn Learning, and then as well as the very special person that's going to win the LinkedIn Learning 1-year trial. So super excited. There are over 16,000 courses on LinkedIn Learning. So get ready, guys. All right. So just looking at what LinkedIn looks like, and I'm not sure if you guys are aware of everything that we have to offer. So currently we have 722 million members. This is a global number. Um, I would say one thing that I love about LinkedIn in the role that I'm in too, and just being able to connect with people from other countries, cities, states, regions, and learning either differences or similarities in how we do our jobs, or what the economy is looking like, or business is looking like. So it's really nice because you have these 722 million members who are on the platform for very similar reasons, right? And the reasons that we talked about earlier. We have over 55 million companies, 14 million jobs, 36,000 skills. And I'm gonna stop for a second because I do want to highlight that when we go through the profile later, it is very important. I mean, every single one of us has like a unique skill or something that we're passionate about. And it's really great to make sure that you're taking advantage of highlighting this on your LinkedIn platform, especially since we offer 36,000 different types of skills, right? So if it's nursing, or if you're into digital marketing like I am, there's those things are certain things that you can highlight. And if you're looking for either a job, or if you're looking for networking opportunities, those skills will come into play, right? Because it's all searchable, and someone can say, oh, I'm looking for someone who's interested in nursing. I'm going to start searching on the platform, and someone with that skill or highlighted skill is going to pop up. So just wanted to highlight that. Education, the number of schools that we have on our platform is quite healthy, I would say. And it is a way to target. So if you're a speaker and you want to, for example, speak at a school, or if you're in a certain region with different universities and colleges that maybe you want to take advantage of, there's a way, this is targetable. So it's a really great way, again, like, because everything is searchable on the platform. You can search by schools, regions, etc. And the 358 billion plus number on knowledge is really just the number of feed updates that we get. It's a lot of people engaging on the LinkedIn platform, sharing, engaging with different stories, with different articles, with people. So it's really just incredible, like how much engagement there is right now on the platform. So, okay, I'm going to stop. This is the time. Does anyone have any questions? Are there any questions in the chat? Okay, great. That means I'm doing good or I'm doing really bad. So, all right, guys, we're going to go into your profile and what it means, right? Your story. So we very much encourage, obviously you don't have to, but we very much encourage that everyone has a photo on their LinkedIn profile. It does seem a little bit strange when someone doesn't have a LinkedIn profile. You might be like, is this the person I'm looking for? Are they legit? Are they, someone that I should be connecting with if they haven't put their photo up there? So we do encourage adding a photo. I don't encourage that you add a photo with any kind of filter, like the Snapchat photos, or any kind of like you're wearing something on your head, or, sparkles are coming out of your mouth, nothing like that. Just a plain, simple photo. Does not have to be professional. It can just be, a clean picture of your face. We do see that there are 9 times more connection requests when you have a photo, which makes complete sense, right? Because there are a lot of people with the same name. And you might be unsure if you're reaching the right person if they don't have a photo. So, this is just, I think, very basic. And we encourage people to make sure that they have that photo. Super easy. Step 1, check. Step 2. So this is a feature that we recently rolled out last year. And it is because of names like mine, Ellen Vlagakos, right? Where it's really hard to pronounce, or you might not be sure how to pronounce it, and you don't want to mess it up when you're getting on a call with a client or getting on, any kind of phone call with a colleague, et cetera, for the first time. So this is something that you can actually just record, and someone can listen to it on your actual profile. So I think this is great. I use it. I don't have it. And I also will encourage you guys not to take a look at my profile very extensively, because I'm not following all of these rules and I need to. But recording my name is going to be one thing that I do very soon, because like I said, I think people have a challenging time with my name sometimes, although Addie did fantastic. So step 3, adding your industry. So depending on, and then this is even if you're currently not working, what I would say, think about your skills as even an industry, right? So adding for me, if I'm one of my interests is digital marketing. And if I wasn't working at this time, I would put that as my industry, because it's where I've worked for so many years. And it's of my interest, and it's one of my skills. So adding your industry there, again, whether you're working or not working, is important. Again, all of these attributes, everything that you can see on your LinkedIn profile is searchable and targetable. So it's important to make sure that, if you really want to be active on the platform, to have all of these things covered, because someone might be searching for you and missing you if you don't have these things added in. So we actually see, again, that more than 300,000 people are searching by industry on LinkedIn every single week. And that could be because they're looking for someone in that industry, someone specific, or they're looking for articles or networking opportunities. So again, just very important to add in all of these steps that we're going through. If you're currently not working, there is that option to show that you're open to work. But even if you are working, and you're looking for a new role or a new job, you can actually show that you're open to work, and your manager won't be able to see that you have this on your profile. So only recruiters, there's certain and I don't know all of the details, and I apologize if anyone has this question, but I'm not sure exactly how it works that your company can't see, but I know that your company can't see that you're open to work. So if you're looking for a new job, this is a good way to show recruiters that, hey, I'm looking. Make sure that you have all of these other attributes that we're going to go over listed out as well. If you're looking for a new job or open to work, it's just going to help you in terms of, again, that searchability and highlighting all of the qualifications that you have and what you can bring to the table. So drafting a compelling summary. I would say if you're like me, it's very, very hard. I definitely, struggle with talking about myself and kind of focus. I don't like doing accolades on Ellen. It's very uncomfortable for me. I don't know what to say. And, but we have to do it, right? So I would say drafting a compelling summary is important for your LinkedIn profile, because, so again, that searchability, any keywords that are searched where maybe you have something specific in your summary, you'll come up. It's also your elevator pitch, right? So if you're thinking about I don't know, you're in the elevator, or you've been in contact with the VP of your company, what do you want them to know about you? What can you actually say in this section that is so special about you that you need to share it here, that someone needs to see it? This is really hard for us to do. I mean, I would say, if this is easy for you to do, please call me and tell me, because I could use your help. This is definitely an area where, you have to self-reflect, but then also you have to talk about yourself. And it's so hard to do that sometimes. So, We do encourage around 40 to 100 words in your summary. I'm going to go through a couple of examples later too, where we can talk about like good, bad. But I will say, and this is we're living in a digital age, right? Where we can search and look through everyone's profile. If you need inspiration, go to other people's profiles, especially people who are either in the same industry as you or someone who you aspire to be like, or someone who inspires you, and check out their profile, check out their summary, and think about it, right? Just let it mull it over, put some notes together, talk it over with your family, your friends, anyone who you think knows you really well, that can highlight and help you highlight what those special attributes are that you have, because we all have special attributes. It's just really hard for us to tell everyone about it, right? So this is definitely an important area of your profile. And like I said, everything is searchable. So you want to make sure that you have it concise and that you're telling, you have some like special keywords in there. Like if we look here, like software businesses, customers, etc. So there's certain keywords there that might be highlighted if someone was searching for someone like you. Feature content. So this is another area that I think is a struggle for a lot of people, right? It's what kind of content should you be putting out there? Should you actually be putting any content out there? So when you do, whether it's your own published article, published write-up, this will show up in your featured content. Also, if you've shared anything out. So I share a lot out in terms of what we're doing at LinkedIn, articles that I've seen, anything inspirational. And so this will show up on my profile as content that is featured on my page. So, this is, I think, trying to share out a little bit more definitely elevates you on the LinkedIn platform, especially because there is that algorithm that comes into play, right? So people start engaging with you. They start seeing that you're sharing out content, that it's featured on your page. Obviously sharing out rich content is better than just sharing out something with, just words. But I think it's definitely good to share that out. So if someone is actually looking at your profile, they'll see some of the featured content that you've shared, and see what's of interest to you, right? Like you guys might have some common themes of interest. So it does add that element where, if someone is looking for you, it might bring you closer together. It's kind of like on your resume when you put like hobbies or interests or something like that. So think of it in that light. Okay. Detailing your work experience. So I think, at this point, we probably all have resumes where we've detailed out bullet points of what we've done. With LinkedIn, I would say a lot of people just want to take their resume, copy and paste it onto their LinkedIn profile as is. I 100% do not recommend doing that. What I do recommend doing is think about when you're having a conversation, when you're in an interview and you're actually talking about your work experience and you're having that conversation with someone. Your LinkedIn profile should be very similar in that way, right? Where you're kind of conversating with the person who's looking at your profile. It shouldn't be bullet point. It should be sentences that showcase your experience and really highlight who you are and what you've done. So, I think like here, in this example as well, you see that it's more in like a, very short paragraph, but highlights what this person was doing as, the vice president of ABC Sales Technologies. So that's kind of how you should think about it. Also, I always recommend, and I think like we all want to use the STAR method when we're, utilizing, when we're trying to update our resume. Using the STAR method in your profile is also good because you want to, highlight some numbers and highlight your accomplishments and actually like what you've done. So again, I think that this is an opportunity to kind of go beyond, that bullet point. And, if you're super, super passionate about customer service, or, in this case, like software sales, you can actually highlight that and showcase like what you did, why you're so passionate about it in more of that paragraph format. Volunteer experience. So obviously, like if you have volunteer experience, it's great to put it in here. If you don't, no big deal at all. But I think again, it's kind of similar to what you have on your resume as hobbies, extracurriculars, kind of showing a different side of you that's more of that human aspect versus like your professional self, right? Although right now, like our professional selves and our personal selves definitely merge, and like sometimes we're just one and the same anyway, but it's nice to show that like maybe you're part of your church or or a local organization, like how today, like you guys are all part of this local organization. So depending on what you're doing from a volunteer perspective, this could also just be like tutoring or whatever it is. You should highlight this because it definitely adds, something to your character and something to, what you're doing besides the day-to-day work. Skills and endorsements. So this is another area where I think people are very afraid to, like you can add in your own skill. And this is what we were talking about earlier with the 36,000. I think sometimes it's hard though to ask people to endorse you. So I would say, people who you are close with, whether that's through, the Bend organization that, network, your network, people you've connected with, that you've, done maybe projects with, et cetera, or even in your workplace, there's no harm. I mean, I think we all want to have that endorsement. We all want to make sure that, people know that we have these skills. So it's never a bad thing to just say, hey, like, do you mind endorsing me for, this project management, thing that I did. And then you can add your own skills as well. So, if you have skills in, certain technology, or if your skills are nursing, or if you even are certified in certain things, if you have like certain certifications, I would add those in here for sure. Like I said, all searchable. People are searching constantly. They want to connect. They want to really be with the same types of people as they are, right? I mean, I think that I always enjoy talking to, nerding out with like the digital marketing crew. Like I definitely but I also want to learn about other people's skills and other things. So I think like making sure that you're highlighting that, get those endorsements, highlight those skills. It adds more depth to your profile and people who are looking for you. And then this one is where nobody wants to do it, but requesting a recommendation. So I will say this, it is very fulfilling giving one. So if you haven't given a recommendation to anyone on LinkedIn, I would maybe, in your mind, pick like 3 people who you've worked with who have either been exceptional, who you loved working with, who are, like your ride or die at work or, anywhere outside of work, and write that recommendation for them. Number one, it will actually make you feel really good, but you have no idea how great it will make the other person feel. And I think getting into those types of habits, this is one area that I do, especially when I'm working on projects or have certain clients where, we've partnered together and it's been an incredible experience. I really do like to highlight that because it stays on your profile. It does, it's not forgettable. Like I think, we go through our day-to-day work, we have, our accomplishments, every year, et cetera, then we tend to forget about them, but this stays with you. And the great thing is that other people see it. So I'm going to task you guys with, maybe you don't write the recommendation, but maybe think about the recommendation, right? Like in the next couple of days, think about who has been such an inspiration to you, or who you've worked with where you're like, wow, like I loved working with that person. They were so fantastic in, these 5 ways. I'm going to like write them a recommendation. And I would encourage you all to start doing that. I think you have no idea how great it will make you feel and the other person. So, and don't be afraid to ask for them. Really don't be afraid. I mean, if you're working together, and you know that you've done, exceptional work, or if you've done, certain projects with somebody else, ask for that recommendation. There's no harm in it whatsoever. Every single one of us is in the same boat. So, definitely extend yourself in both of those ways, asking and then giving that recommendation. So I also want to make sure that we don't forget about, location. So like I mentioned to you before, like LinkedIn is global, but LinkedIn is also local. And then we know this, right? Because you guys have your own, group on LinkedIn. So I encourage you to join that group. Make sure you're participating, make sure you're sharing. Look for local opportunities, do searches, the education, publications, accomplishments. Make sure that you're highlighting all of that in your profile. One other thing, and I think I'll cover it a little bit later too, but I want to just highlight that you can actually search by hashtag. So if you see on the posts that people write, they'll put hashtags in there. So I often search on, digital marketing, again, because I'm a digital marketer, to see what kind of articles are out there, what's new and great. And you can do those searches and then see everything that go on. So if you're looking for local opportunities, or if you're looking for a job opportunity and you want a job, in nursing, hashtag nursing, done. So I know the next slide is really going to go into some examples, and I was hoping to get some participation here. But before we go into that, I just want to stop and ask if there are any questions.
Yes, Ellen, we do have a few questions
Excellent.
that
Yay.
work with what we were just talking about.
Great.
So we do have a question about posting, and it talked about, you were just talking about how LinkedIn is local and kind of global. How do you go about that when you're posting stuff? So we've got a question that says, I sometimes post very geographically specific things, but my network is much broader than that. Do we have to be focused on what target market we're posting things for?
No, you don't. I would say the only time, you would want to be focused on that is if you're maybe putting like ad dollars behind it. You don't want that reaching the masses. But I will say that the algorithm will pick up, especially, and like I said, like use those hashtags, right? If this is like something local, you can even put local, or like shop local, or bend local, or add that local hashtag in your post. And then I don't know if this is another part of the question, but in terms of posting, obviously there's no limitations on how often you can post. We recommend that people post several times a week. I would say like every 2 to 3 days, share or post something. And again, this will just help you build up your network, help with engagement, help people, start connecting with you more, the more and more you post. So I hope that answers your question. If it didn't, I'm happy to continue.
That was great. And does that go hand in hand with commenting on other people's posts? So you want to post your own things a few times a week. You want to comment on other people's posts?
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, think about it when you're posting and you're hoping that people are going to engage with you, right? Like sometimes I get like 3 likes and I'm like, damn it. Like I wish more people would like my posts. So I would say, throw someone a bone, like their posts, engage. This is a conversation online. Like we want to make sure that there's that engagement going. So just like, as you're posting, definitely engage with other folks' posts. I mean, engage if you want to, if it's something relevant and something you're passionate about.
Right.
So but yes, engage for sure.
Do it genuinely. Don't just do it because Ellen told you to do it. Okay. Perfect. Just one more question. When evaluating profiles, what's the biggest area you see not being taken advantage of? And this kind of goes into the next category a little bit too.
Yeah, so I would say the summary, and I'm very guilty of this, of the summary, and I think it is because of that self-consciousness that we have about doing a write-up on ourselves, right? Like I do notice that most people, what I was saying, they kind of just take their resume and copy and paste it. I mean, there's no harm in doing that either, right? But if we're going to do it right, we want to do it right. So I think the summary is one area that's not taken advantage of. And of course, like the recommendations, I think people are very afraid to ask for one. And then, and that's why I say, like, take the time to think about it. Like, think about how you would feel if you got this, like, incredible recommendation from someone, and then think about how good it will feel for you to give that. So I think those two areas, and they both go hand in hand in that feeling of self-consciousness or not sure what to write, not feeling comfortable with getting, those accomplishments and accolades written out. So I think those are the two main opportunities on folks' LinkedIn profile.
That's great. Thank you so much, Ellen.
Sure. Any other questions?
We have we have a couple more, but I'd love to go to the next section and then we'll ask them at the end.
Okay, Addie, stay on with me. So we'll really quickly, I just wanted to show a couple of examples. So as a native New Yorker, I really, really love Jennifer Lopez. So I just want you guys to take a quick look, maybe one person respond and tell me what you think is great or what you think is not great about this profile. Really quick.
In the chat.
In the chat, yep. Just write, maybe one positive, one negative, and then we'll discuss. Anything?
I think people are analyzing. I don't like her cover photo. 2 pictures of J-Lo, just like double face. So 2 comments about the photos.
J-Lo.
Yeah, AKA J-Lo, exactly. Let's see. She's gorgeous and just sang at the inauguration. That's right. Ellen and I were just talking about that. It's very, it's perfect that we were talking about J-Lo today. Nobody wants to be unhappy with J-Lo. Love her tile line. Hey, Karen. Good typed out experience. Oh, Rob. Just saying jokes. Positive. She's using the summary about section. That's great. Her about is short and concise in a good way. People are loving on J-Lo.
Great.
Yeah.
So I like to use her as an example because I do think that it's a nice summary. It humanizes her. She's a mom. She's she has obviously all of these other things that she's involved in, but I love that she started off with that she's a mom. So again, using your LinkedIn profile to kind of show a different aspect of you. A lot of people at work don't know, if you're a mom or a dad or whatever it is. I love that about her. One criticism that I have about her profile, look at her skills and endorsements. Seriously, J-Lo, you have no skills and endorsements? So that's just one, thing that I wanted to highlight. But I think overall, like she's very, very active on the LinkedIn profile. Obviously, I follow her, and I think she does a really good job of utilizing the platform. One more example, Shaquille O'Neal, guys. So one quick, positive and a negative, if you have one.
Well, that's a long about.
Yep. Definitely more than the 40 to 100 words that we like to suggest.
I feel like I'm back in school with a test. What is wrong about this?
So I'll just, because I know we're in the essence of time. So I would say he has an excellent profile, the about section is a little too long. I think, people probably do read it. I think I would probably just keep it to the 2 paragraphs and not the 4. But what I do love about his profile is his volunteer experience and his skills and endorsements. So just want to highlight that, right? Like, I would say, like, as you're thinking about your own profile, look at other examples and look at other, I'm looking at Shaquille O'Neal and Jennifer Lopez. I mean, look at whoever it is that inspires you, whether it's, a celebrity or a CEO or, the neighbor, whoever it is that gives you that inspiration, look at their LinkedIn profile for inspiration for you. So just wanted to highlight those 2 examples, but I'm going to keep going now. So kind of let's go into like what your voice should be on LinkedIn and what it should look like. We definitely talked about sharing, publishing content. I would say I try to share links, articles, webinars, anything inspirational that inspires me that I feel like other people might want to see several times a week. That's what I would do. I would make sure that like you're trying, like in your downtime, right? Or if you're commuting, or if you're at the doctor's office in the waiting room, go on, do a couple of searches, see what's going on, and share those updates. Get people involved. Tag, hashtag, tag people, throw in those hashtags, make yourself searchable, make the topics that you're interested searchable. So sharing those updates is I would say more common, right? Versus the publishing. So publishing is where we get into that self-consciousness again, right? Really like taking the time to write deep thoughts or, anything around certain topics. Like I'm not the best writer, so this is not an area for me. I know a lot of people who do love writing, don't take advantage of this opportunity on LinkedIn as much as they should. So if you do like to write, you have a lot of opinions and thoughts and things that you want to share them. Take advantage of this professional environment and people who are like-minded like you, to share, what you're passionate about and the things that matter to you. So status updates, same thing. I would say, basically several times a week. But in terms of status updates, like I don't really share status updates. Like I'm like, good morning, everyone. This is what I'm working on today. I usually will do more of that, like content, publishing, sharing out links, etc. We also, and I'm not sure, how many of you have seen this, but we also have stories now on the LinkedIn platform. So obviously if you're on Facebook and Instagram and, a lot of the other platforms, that what stories is. One thing that I like about stories on LinkedIn is a lot of folks like will highlight either like local business that they love so much, right? Like I went to this local business and I got exceptional customer service and I'm like sharing that story. But also like in the work environment, in the workplace, sharing accolades of like your team members and highlighting like the amazing culture that you have in the workplace. So stories on LinkedIn, that's kind of how it's used. So again, another great way to share, like if you don't want to post, you can share, those bite-sized moments in stories. Okay, so best practices for sharing updates, and Addie said it perfectly, right? Be genuine and share with your authentic voice, whether it's commenting on someone or actually posting yourself. Post frequently. I mean, post frequently can mean post 5 times a day or post five times a week. So depending on what frequently means to you is how often you should post. There's no rhyme or reason. There's really no, I would say best way to do it. If you do want to post 5 times a day, then you should do that. If you have that much to, if you have that much to share and things that you want to get out and, share with the masses, then do that. Starting conversations, again, not only just starting the conversations, but engaging in other people's conversations, right? If you're seeing someone who posted something and you're interested in it or you like it, tell them how much you appreciate them sharing. And then obviously including rich media, videos, anything with imagery is always better than just the text. I think we all know that. So just going to go here. And then when you publish, and we saw this earlier, it becomes part of your profile. So if I'm looking at your profile, I can see everything that you've published. I can see everything that you shared. And it'll reach that larger group. So in the question that was asked earlier in terms of local, it does not matter. Even if you have, like LinkedIn is this global environment, a lot of your connections though might be more of like of the local people around you, and they will actually see it. So pay no mind in terms of like I'm posting something local, but it might reach someone that it's not relevant to. No, post anyway. And then, starting on your homepage. So writing, publishing, you can actually like write the article right there on LinkedIn. I mean, obviously, like I said, this is an area where like unless you're a journalist or unless like writing is your profession, this is a lot harder for a lot of people to do. Challenge yourself. I would say like we're still in January. If you haven't set a New Year's resolution, maybe this is a New Year's resolution to come, to start, is trying to write an article on LinkedIn. One of my very good friends who, she works for the Metropolitan Opera here in New York City, and she really wasn't engaged so much with LinkedIn. One of her she did a 14-day challenge where every single day she would write on LinkedIn. She would post either an article or she would write one herself, just to get out of her comfort zone. So that might be something that you want to engage in too. Okay, so again, I think if you're publishing content, obviously creating a headline that captures attention, this is very searchable. So making sure that depending on what the headline is, think very closely on keywords that you might want someone to search on when creating that headline, including photos, imagery, video. Again, like all of those things, I think we know that now, like are more captivating on any platform, not just LinkedIn. Being genuine with your voice, and then really thinking about, your audience. Like I said, LinkedIn is a very positive environment too. So think about like how you're coming across as you're writing something, whether it's something that you're publishing or something that you are engaging with, or commenting. So, make sure that you're thinking about your audience and also your voice and how you're coming across. And then, article length matters. I think, you can do something long form. I think typically we see that long form actually does work really well on the LinkedIn profile. And again, I think because LinkedIn is the type of environment where people are more leaned in. And as I mentioned earlier, people come to LinkedIn with purpose, right? So you're going to take the time to read a longer article than you would on some of the other social platforms, for example. So, think about that too. I would say, you don't want it to be like 25 pages long if you're writing an article, but longer actually works pretty well on the LinkedIn platform. And then you can actually track your progress. So especially if you're publishing, right? Obviously, if you're posting anything, you can see your likes, your shares, who's engaging, etc. But if you're actually publishing an article, you can see even more information on that. Right on the LinkedIn profile. So you can get some data behind it to see, a lot of people were really interested in this topic. Maybe I should continue to do research and publish more on it. So you get some insights there on how to move it forward. Okay. So a couple of other suggestions. Follow companies that inspire you, follow companies that you really like. I will say Walmart is a company on LinkedIn that has a ton of followers. They post a lot about the culture, what they do for their employees. It's almost like this insane following. Like every time I go on Walmart's page or anytime I go see any kind of update from Walmart, it's so positive. They've created this incredibly positive environment on the LinkedIn platform. So companies that you love or feel passionate about, whether they're global or whether they are local, if they're local and they have a page, follow and engage. again, like it will, it'll help you stay connected with any news, trends, any product launches that the company has coming out for that company. And in addition, influencers. So I follow Jennifer Lopez. So, and I see all her posts and everything, but you can follow other influencers like Bill Gates owner of Microsoft, founder of Microsoft. And a lot of people follow Bill Gates, and he's very, very active. I was going to use him as one of the examples, but his profile is too good, so we needed to have someone who had some mistakes there. But Bill Gates, he's an influencer on our platform. Follow him. If you're interested in auto, follow Tesla, follow any automotive companies that you feel really passionate about, because it's not just about the product, it's really about the company and what they're actually like producing for the environment. What good are they doing for their people, their customers, their employees, etc. Get that inspiration. And then there are filters that you can put in. So to the question earlier, I follow, I have mine set to like everything. But let's say I only want to follow New York, or I only want to get updates from people in New York. I can actually set some of these filters. You can also set these filters for when you're searching. So you can search industry, like we mentioned earlier. You can also search for location. So this is important also if you're looking for a job. If you are looking for a new role, and let's say maybe you're looking out of state or out of the city that you're in, adding that location filter will help you get those jobs in your feed. And then customizing your feed, customizing your feed, you can actually, by following companies, following people, following, actually doing searches and engaging, right? Because it's all an algorithm. So in your feed, if you're engaging with certain types of posts, you'll tend to see more of those types of posts in your feed. And then obviously, if you don't want to see something like we've recently had folks commenting on, anyone who's commented on politics on the LinkedIn profile, and people don't come onto LinkedIn so that they can talk or look at politics, you can actually hide the post. And like I said, because it's an algorithm, you won't see those types of content anymore. And then, obviously searching by hashtag. This is a big one. So I did include here, like you guys have your hashtag, Bend, Oregon. This is what comes up. I would say, you can do a search, follow, if you're not following already, follow. And but like search on other different types of hashtags too, whether it's local community stuff or companies or people or whatever it is, job searches, etc. Lots of information comes up when you're searching by hashtag. All right. I know I went through that pretty quick, but I wanted to make sure we had some time for any questions.
Thank you, Ellen. Yes, we are almost at 1. So what I'm thinking is we do have a couple great questions, and some of them are very specific. So I'm thinking I'm going to email you those after this. Yep. And get some answers, and I'll send them out in the post email. Does that work?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. And so everyone, if you asked us a question that didn't get answered today, we're going to get some specific answers from Ellen later, because there's some great questions. But I would like to stay true to our 1 o'clock to make sure you all have time to go eat lunch, or whatever you need to do, head off to the next meeting. So Ellen, thank you so much for being here. That was a wonderful presentation. I have a full list of notes of things that I was taking. There was lots of things I didn't know, actually. And I think that's, oops, I'm so sorry. Here, I just lost your video.
Oh, I'm here. I don't know why. I see you.
Here, click on the ask to start. Sorry about that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Thanks. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to thank you all so much for spending this hour with us. I promise to answer your questions feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn too. And I think Addie, you'll be sending out whoever won as well.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you to everyone who joined. Addie, Rob, really appreciate the time today.
We're getting lots of thank yous in the chats for you as well, Ellen. Yes, and I will just say very quickly, the winners, I pulled all the names and did a random generator online. Michelle Flick, you won the LinkedIn Learning Yearly Pass. And Lauren Jensen, you won the free profile review. So I will be sending you an email to get you hooked up with Rob and Ellen, and they'll get your information, and we'll be good to go. Rob, did you want to say anything?
No, congrats. I put a link in the chat if anyone wants to click on it. Sometimes the hashtags can be a little bit weird. So Katie pointed out that the in-bend hashtag was a better one to follow. And there's a link to that in the chat window if anyone wants to scroll up and find it. So thank you so much, Ellen, for an amazing presentation.
Thanks, everybody.
And please, one last thing. Please reach out to me directly if you guys have any questions about LinkedIn. You can find me obviously on LinkedIn and send me a connection request. And I'll put a link real quick to my profile in the chat.
I'll send that in the post email as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a great week.
Bye.